You sitting there wondering whether your ex regrets losing you. They haven't reached out to you or anything, but you can't help but think, are they thinking of you? Do they feel the sense of loss, and are they missing you like they lost a great thing to know that you had value to them? Truth is, exes do feel regret, but most of them won't admit it. So I'm gonna break down in this video why that is, and so that you can know how to look out for the signs and know if this is what's happening in your world. And by the end of the video, you'll know what to do about it if your ex does try to circle the block and come back once you recognize this is what's happening. So first, let's talk about the psychology of regret, right? And why exes feel regret. Well, first and foremost, it's human nature to romanticize the past, right? Once you're out of a situation, it is natural for us as humans, because we are built to bond and pair bond, to focus more on all the good than the bad. So the very first reason that I can pretty much tell you, if you know you're valuable in your ex's life, that they are regretting losing you, is because something that was once in their world is no longer there, which makes them romanticize it being there, wanting to get it back in some regard. The second reason is the grass wasn't greener realization, where they walked away feeling like they can do so much better, or feeling optimistic about what's to coming next, or coming, in the future for them. And they went and tried to invest into someone else or something else or whatever. And they quickly started realizing that what they had with you was a lot more valuable than their current situation, which makes them start craving you more and starting to harp on the thoughts of wanting you back even more. And the third obvious one is emotional attachments just don't disappear. We're not designed to be that way as humans. We're designed to stay close to our attachment figures, stick with them so you can survive on a primal level. So when you break up with someone, it's almost impossible, if you actually cared, to let those emotions just dissolve overnight, right? It takes time for those to fade, right? For the strength of them to die down, So whenever you're healing through a breakup, right, you can definitely, cut down the amount of time that you go through this like painful suffering, right? But it doesn't change the significance and the impact of what that person meant to you, right? From that experience, you're still going to feel a sense of loss. There's going to be a grieving period. So during this time, it becomes some of the most natural, understandable spaces where your ex can regret ever walking away or letting go, because now it's symbolic of what they don't have anymore, right? And it can really do a mind trip on them, especially while they're romanticizing, right? And especially when they're realizing, oh my gosh, I did have it better where I was with my ex versus where I am now. And the hidden signs that lets you know there's a good chance they are regretting losing you is, first, you'll notice they're always watching your IG stories or something, right? Or interacting subtly with your content. Maybe to like a post here or there. Maybe they don't comment or do too much, but enough to where you see that they're noticing you, they're still seeing you, they're still watching, right? Or they will bring you up to a mutual friend of yours, right? Or ask about you, to where they're not trying to like intentionally make it so about, oh, I'm regretting losing them and so forth, but they'll be trying to inquire because they're trying to just stick in your world in some kind of a way. They'll post things on their social media that seems like direct messages to you, right? And I don't mean just something that you're just, making it something out of nothing. I mean something that's maybe like an insider joke, or something they know that only you would get, or whatever the case is, where it's not literal in the caption or in the post itself that it's directly at you, but it really seems clear that that message will be intended in your direction. That's a sign. Just as much as they'll find reasons to reach out to you or connect with you or talk to you in some way, right? They'll find some, even the silliest thing, I found this sock of yours that still at my place that you didn't have, and I don't know, do you want it? You want it to go with the other pairing sock, and it's like, you're like, what? Just throw the sock away. Like, well, why even bother me about it? It's a sign. Or the most notable sign that so many people overlook because they're so caught up with the pain of, oh, I can't believe, my ex has done this, right? But they try to move on quickly with someone else in a rebound relationship. That is a blaring, screaming sign that they're regretting losing you, or that they're still going through the pain of it. And they're trying to, you know, convince themselves that them walking away was not a bad decision, that it's not something they should regret, right? Anytime you see your ex on to the next person after they just broke up with you, and you know you guys are both locked in an emotionally bonded relationship, that screams they're regretting not having you in their life anymore, and they're trying to replace the void you've left with someone else. So with all these signs you're seeing that are kind of screaming they regret losing you, I know you're probably asking yourself the one natural question that follows that, right? Which anyone would ask. Well, why aren't they just saying something? Why won't they tell me? Why won't they come talk through it with me? Well, the answer to that is simple as well. The one main reason most of us struggles in relationships or winds up, you know, arguing with our partners all the time and blocks our growth and everything else. Pride and ego. Them coming to say to you that they regret losing you and coming back to try to get you back and all these things means they have to admit to their ego and their pride that they made a mistake. And so they'd rather stew in the pain and just regretting and have these little small moments with their body, their mind and body, trying to get them to do something to get this energy out and get some sort of form of connection to you without, you know, showing their ugly little secret, right? Or exposing themselves. So they'll do that to try to get these little fleeting moments of connection with you instead of living in their truth. But then that leads to the second big reason why they won't admit it to you. At this point, they have a fear of rejection. They have a fear that since they walked away or since they did what they did and, you know, they wanted to stand 10 toes down on it and sit in their pride and be like, yeah, I'm leaving. I'm going off without you. I don't need you anymore. That type of energy that now if they come back and try to get you back, there's a chance you won't want them back. And that's scary as hell. That's a lot more scary than just keeping your mouth shut and just pining for you and regretting the decision in the first place versus regretting the decision, then going to go confirm their worst fear by trying to get you back. And now you don't want them anymore, because then it makes the possibility that they can actually have you back in their lives null and void. Is gone. It's not a reality anymore. It confirms the truth that they'll never have you back again. And that is really scary whenever they crave to have you in their world again. And then the third and probably most paralyzing reason they won't come out of their mouth and really speak their truth to you and tell you that, hey, they want you back and all the things is because they don't want to give you power. And all of us can understand that moments, right? Especially if you're the one that were left. You never want to go tell your ex, oh, I want you back, because you feel like you're not respecting yourself and so forth, right? Which sometimes can be true depending on how that process goes. And so if your ex is the one that walked away and they're regretting it, the last thing they want to do is come tell you that they regret leaving, because now they feel it doesn't have to be true, right? See, oftentimes we have these whole narratives we create that aren't even true in reality, but perception is reality. So they believe by telling you that they regret walking away and losing you and all that stuff, they've just given you the upper hand. And their pride and ego can't handle that, because now they feel like I'm exposed. I'm this weaker person in the equation. I'm less than. I had to come begging and pleading back to you and all this other stuff, to where they rather to sit and keep going through the stress and the emotional pain of not having you in their world anymore, because they're not willing to face their own decision and say, hey, maybe I got it wrong. And they can't conquer themselves, can't get over themselves to come and tell you that they give themselves a chance at having what they once lost, right? If you would even accept them back. Now, hey, if you ever watch any of my videos, you know I don't fully condone taking our exes back, right? It's possible if all the cards line up. It's just really rare that the cards will all line up and everything will, you know, fit seamlessly into place. And even off of what I'm breaking down right now about why your ex regrets losing you, nothing in there should give you hope that they're going to be coming back if they did and on the right premise. They're coming back because they feel like they've made a mistake and they've dropped the ball and they're missing the things that you meant to them and all these things. But nothing in there is about you, the person. It's really about them in that instance, right? That this whole thought process and all their actions and so forth. Because think about it. If they did walk away from you and did it boldly and all the things that they did, then why would they not respect you enough or care about you enough to not go and then be on your social media, be asking friends about you and trying to just find ways to reach out to you? Why wouldn't they respect your space to heal instead of trying to get little sneaky openings of connection with you so they can feel less, disconnected from you and feel, not feel as bad for not having you in their world anymore while they're trying to deal with their own internal regret. So what's the first thing you need to do if they do try to circle the block and come back to get you, right? The very first thing is, do not chase them. Let them sit in their regret. The worst thing you can do if someone's walked away from you, right, for whatever reasons they decided to do so, and you didn't want to let go of the relationship, but you wanted to work it out and work through it, is do yourself the disservice and the disrespect towards yourself of chasing them now because they showed some signs of interest that they want the relationship back to. No, let them learn. Let them learn the repercussions of their actions when they decide to break a commitment and walk away. That has to come with repercussions for your value, right? So when you don't chase them, you're setting a precedent for your value and saying, hey, you have to live with what it means to not have my value in your life anymore if you decide to leave it, right? You have to let them experience that. And what do you do instead? You focus on you. The more you glow up, more likely the more they're going to regret it. And so I say this to say, we don't try to focus on glowing up so we can just stick it in their face more so that they can regret it more. No, not at all. It's just a byproduct that happens most of the times because if they already regret losing you, the better you become, then they're going to regret it more because they're going to feel like they're missing out on all this amazing you or version of yourself that you've become, right? But it's helpful to them because now they start learning the lesson that I can't abandon or bail on someone I feel is valuable to me in the future if I feel like they're truly worth it. I have to figure out how to work through things with them instead of running from the situation and trying to just go find something better real fast to replace them. Right. Or trying to go out here and thinking I can just do so much better without them without fully resolving whether or not this is just not my person versus me being upset with them or struggling to work through things with them. It's a big difference. So the reason why you focus on you and your glow up is so that you can take your mind off of harping over and reminiscing over, oh, is there a chance that this could work? Could I get them back? Are they missing me? And all the things that really stunt your growth, because every time you're spending time focusing on your ex and living in that wheelhouse, you're not working on something for you. You're not progressing yourself forward. You're giving all this time and energy towards a dead end almost, right? Where focus goes, energy flows, and that's what grows. So if you keep spending all of your time and your life force focusing on your ex and who should be in your past now, you're giving energy to it, then your mind's going to do its job and blow up and grow those thoughts to where you'll sit there and that's how you wind up overthinking. As if someone sits there and is pondering over the past and they just keep living in the past, and now you look up and you're not actually moving towards your future. You're not growing at all anymore. So you focus on yourself as a process of healing, self-nurture, and also a self-evolution, right? And in the process, your ex is probably going to wind up regret losing you that much more. And lastly, if they reach out to you, you have to set the tone first, right? Don't slip and fall into old patterns to where you wind up dealing with them again and going through the whole carousel again. And then it winds up crashing and burning again because they didn't really learn from their decision. They just got their fix again. And now the same problems proceed and all the things happens, right? You have to stand on your standards and your boundaries and set the tone for what is okay and what's not okay with you to them. If you're okay having any interactions with them at this point. For a lot of you, it doesn't even make sense to engage with them anymore beyond maybe there's some items you have to exchange or whatever, or give back, or something you have to separate that you guys were intertwined with, right? Outside of that, there shouldn't be much to be spoken about in the sense of you guys being some sort of an item or in each other's lives to a certain degree. Now, I'm a firm believer you can be friends with anyone, even your ex, right? After, you guys have both healed from the breakup, which requires time and space. You need distance. You need no contact for a period so you can heal your wounds. And then if you guys actually found each other to be good enough people, then you can absolutely be acquaintances or friends if you want down the road. But in this time space, you need to set the tone and make sure they have to match your energy, what you're okay with, not get slipped back into their thing. Because it could be hard not to let that happen when you were the one that was left and you didn't want it to end in the first place. So you got to stand 10 toes down and strong on your standards and your boundaries, because it's going to serve you and it's ultimately going to serve their growth as well if you ever actually cared about them in the first place. Just remember, regret does not always show up in the form of an apology. Sometimes it's through their silence, right? Through them watching the moves you make and still checking in on you, checking up on you, right? Or their inability to fully move on, right? But that's not your job to worry about any of that. It's your job to move on and be the best you. And in the process, you'll serve yourself and their learning lesson towards becoming a better version of themselves, right? If you need help with sticking to your standards and your boundaries, not get sucked back up into a situation that doesn't serve you, or disrespect yourself and chasing someone that left you, that wasn't valuing you enough and everything else just because they're trying to regret you now, then email or DM me the word coaching and we'll get to work, as long as you're truly ready to put the work in. If you're not ready for one-on-one coaching, don't have the time or the space, I get it. At least email or DM me the word revival to join my Relationship Revival Hub community, where you can learn the same things I teach my clients one-on-one at your own pace, on your own time. Either way, do something to get in the race. Let's get it.